What's up, y'all? I'm Jay and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today, y'all, I'm going to be doing part 2 of my 6-month update. I asked y'all to send me in some questions like concerning my move, moving to a new city, living alone for the first time, all that kind of stuff. If y'all haven't seen my first part of the update, go watch it. It's literally a 40-minute video. Good thing I split this up into 2 parts because that would have been crazy, like an hour video. That would have been crazy. So yes, on my first part, I basically went through month by month of everything that happened in the first 6 months of me living here. And yeah, if you guys are new to my channel and you don't know, God told me to move to a new city a couple years ago, and then I finally did it last year, August 2022. And now I'm just keeping y'all updated with the journey. Like I said, I told y'all to send me in some questions, and y'all did. Y'all asked some really good questions, so we're gonna get into it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so the first question is, how has life been since I've moved? Oh, that's such a good question. Life has been good, I will say, and that's why it's so important. If you haven't, go watch that video, because you'll see like it has not been easy since I've moved. But I will say life is good, and I say this because when you are just in the will of God and you are exactly where God told you to be, it doesn't matter. Sorry if the lighting keeps changing too. The sun is coming in and out. But if you are in the will of God, then it does not matter what comes your way. It doesn't matter how much the enemy comes for you. It doesn't matter the things that's going wrong. There's this peace that you have that is just unexplainable, and that's all I have while I'm here. Like, I just have this peace of knowing that God got me, and I would much rather be in a place where God wants me to be and have peace than to be like out trying to do my own thing, and like things may be working out but I'm just not in the will of God. I would much rather be in this place. So, and honestly, I've just had the best time getting to know myself, getting to know who God is. So life has been good since moving. It really has. Like, I don't really have any complaints about the move itself. Like, it's been good. It really has been. What surprised you about moving? What new things have you learned about yourself? Okay, so what surprised me about moving, if I'm being completely honest, is the price of laundry detergent. I'm not even trying to be funny, but why is it so expensive? That really shocked me. There's a couple of like household items that I'm just like so taken aback by. Like, why is that so much? Like, I'm serious. Now, when you're living alone, you have to set a budget for yourself, and I'm already a very frugal person, and now it just makes me want to be even more frugal. But like, the cost of things is just outrageous. Good thing it's only me, like I'm only one person, so I don't have to buy a bulk load of like tissue and all that kind of stuff. Like, I can just get like a little stuff here, a little stuff there, so I'm grateful for that. But if you don't know, I come from a pretty big family, and like living with family and stuff like that, we would get like huge loads of things. And now it's just me, but just seeing the price of things is just crazy. Like, laundry detergent, you really surprised me. But also another thing that surprised me about moving is how peaceful it is. Like, I knew it was going to be peaceful, but dang, like, it's so comfortable to me. Like, I thought I was going to be very scared, very like fearful, very anxious. Not to say I don't have my days, but like it just feels like me. Like, I just feel like myself. It's different than when you're so used to like living with your family and all that kind of stuff, or even if you have roommates. It's different when you're by yourself. It's just like a whole other thing, and it's I just have so much peace. What new things have you learned about yourself? I learned, which I already kind of knew this, but I'll just say it. I learned how I'm just not disciplined. Like, I just don't have good routines and good like habits as far as like what time I wake up, what time I go to sleep, what time is devotional, what time am I doing this, what time am I doing that. Like, I would get home from work and I would just sit in front of the TV and watch a crazy amount of YouTube videos. Then I would cook. Then I would like get dressed for bed, go to sleep, and wake up, do the same thing over and over. And it was like, I wish I had a good routine so that I can implement things that I love doing throughout the day, if that makes any sense. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but I wish I just had like a really good routine and made time for the things that I enjoy, so that I don't feel like I'm not being productive, or I don't feel like, you know, I'm not living my life to the fullest or anything like that. I hope that makes any lick of sense, okay? But just having like a good routine that works well with me. I learned that I'm not a disciplined person right now. I really ain't. What else have I learned about myself? I've also learned, obviously me being here, I'm away from family, I'm away from, you know, everything that I'm used to, being completely alone. It taught me the value of isolation and the value of being alone and learning to be alone with myself, which is not an easy task. But when you're living alone, all you hear is your thoughts. Like, that's all you hear. And for the most part, I would like turn on YouTube or music or whatever to like kind of drown that out. But when you're living alone, you really have to confront yourself and like all of your thoughts, and you sit with yourself a lot, and you're just with yourself. I'm with me all the time. You're just with yourself 24/7. Like, obviously you're like, Najee, everybody's with themselves 24/7, but when you're around people, there's a lot of things that you can stop thinking about something because you're like, well, let me go hang out with my cousin. Like, let me see what she's doing. And like, I'll just go talk to her, or I like, you know, but when you're by yourself, it's just you. And you just have to like sit in that. Was there ever a time in your life that you felt as if you'd be a late bloomer in living on your own? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That would be a big reason of when I would feel my most depressed, my most anxious, fearful, is feeling like I'm so behind everyone my age. I would constantly have this feeling of like, I'm so behind everybody. Everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. People are getting married, people are having kids, people are doing this. And just last year, I was like sharing a room, and like that was just like very, very sad for me. I felt very, very low because I felt like I was just like behind. I almost thought at some point it was impossible for me to ever be able to live by myself. I just thought it was just not possible. One of the most interesting things is that I am the first girl in my family to move to a city by herself and live alone. So take that at face value, take it however you take it. That is, so you can only imagine that I felt like it was not possible. Not saying that no one could ever do it, it just hadn't really been done. Like, anytime we would move or move away, we would all move. We would like, it would be 2 of us or 3 of us or whatever the case may be. But I'm the first girl in my family to live alone in a new city without anyone being here. So that was, I just constantly kept feeling like it's not possible. I felt like, oh, I'm gonna be behind. And one of the things that I told God, I said, Lord, before I get married, I want to live alone. Like, I want to experience that for myself. So that was a goal that I had set in place. Did I actually think it was gonna work? No. Even though I knew God was telling me to move, I felt like it was just not possible, and I just felt like it would never happen. I genuinely felt like this was one of the most impossible things that I could possibly do. So yes, I have definitely felt like a late bloomer plenty of times. And thank God, like right before I turned 25, I was able to do this, but I definitely know the feeling of just like feeling so far behind. And if you feel that way, listen, don't beat yourself up. We are all just on different timetables. You know, I would see like 19-year-olds just living this, you know, life alone and all this kind of stuff. And I just thought it was impossible for me, but just to know that, you know, God's timing is perfect, and let him lead you. In the right time, he'll make sure that, you know, you can do those things. What would I do differently since moving? So I would definitely have way more money saved. I would definitely learn so much about finances and budgeting, and I would make Excel spreadsheets. I would just get crazy knowledge on money. Like, I would suggest that, like, I would do any and everything, read every kind of book that I possibly can, watch every kind of video on how to maintain your finances, on how to maintain money. Even if you're like, I don't even have money right now, just still get the knowledge. Like, that's one of the biggest things I would do differently. I would learn how to save money, budget money, make money, grow money, all sorts of things, okay? And that's not, you know, I'm not trying to act like money is this very, very important thing, but it actually is. And like, if I were you before, if you're still living with your parents, like, man, save, save, save. I mean, I really tried, but if you're in a really good position of where you have no bills at all, like none whatsoever, listen, whatever money you get, save that. Oh my gosh, I would, oof. I wish I had a time machine. Save your money, learn everything you can about financial literacy, and yes, that's something I would do differently for sure. Oh, also I would buy things beforehand, because I started like kind of buying things out of faith, because I wasn't really sure if it was possible to like have, like, I'm gonna be honest, up until the point of me actually moving into my apartment, I literally thought it was going to be impossible for me to move. I just didn't think it was possible. But I would have started buying things in advance, like small things, like get you some plates, get you some forks, get you some cups, get you these things that you will need, okay? Just start buying it out of faith, even if you don't even know when you're moving. Just get it out of faith. That way you'll have it. Any culture shocks? I will say I did not have any real culture shocks, because maybe it's because I'm still in the South, and so I'm very much so used to the South. Like, this is where I was born and raised, in the South. So I wouldn't say culture shock. The one time I did have a culture shock is when I moved to California, and like I said, I was with my mom and my aunt. And I had a huge culture shock, and that sparked like a lot of anxiety, and that's when I went from public school to online school. So culture shock is very, very real when you're moving to a new city. I will say it's very, very peaceful here and like relaxed here, but I feel like I had more culture shock when I moved to California and I started high school there, and there's like 30,000 kids. And everybody goes to lunch at the same time. Like, I was not used to that, y'all. That was crazy to me. Like, y'all really letting 30,000 kids be out here at once? That's crazy. Yeah, so I know culture shock is real, because I had immense amount of culture shock when I moved to California. But that is a place of its own. California is this whole thing. I love California, but that's when I had my most culture shock of like, whoa. And like, okay, I don't know why I'm talking about California so much, but when I moved there, there's not many black people, really. Like, of course there's but there's mostly like Hispanics and like Asian. It was huge not seeing any black people. And I was living in Atlanta with my family, and like everybody's black. So yeah, culture shock is a real thing. Do I have any advice on moving? I kind of went along with the like the whole like what would you do differently thing. But any advice on moving? This girl actually DM'd me this a couple months ago, and I gave her like the whole rundown. I was like, girl, listen. I told her first, I said, pray, pray, pray. And that is so true. Pray for the things that you want, the apartment that you want, pray for the finances that you want. I wrote down everything that I wanted in my apartment, what I was looking for, and God he really came through for me. So like, pray, 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 pray about all of that, even the smallest things. I said, save money. Y'all know that little rant I just gave. Save your money, get a job. Definitely have a job before you move here. Not here, but definitely have a job before you move. Have one where you are, and like work, save money, and then try, before you move, try to get a job there if possible. I had an interview before I moved here, which that's not smart. I would say have a job if possible. Now, this goes back to when God is in a thing, it just, everything works out. Thinking with my brain, I would definitely solidify a job before moving here. Before moving, you'll need things like your first month's rent. You'll need things like your deposit. You'll need money, like just in case, like emergency fund, like things go wrong or whatever the case may be. You'll need things for furniture. Like you'll need all these things. So saving is very, very important. Also, be realistic. Be realistic. Don't think that you're about to go and buy this penthouse, floor to ceiling windows downtown Atlanta. Now, if you can, that's amazing. Me personally, I stay within a certain budget. Like I said in my last video, the dorms at the school that I'm enrolled in, and then some apartments were the same amount. So I stayed in the budget of what I would pay for a dorm if I stayed on campus. Now, the only reason that is a thing because it's a private school, so everything is just extremely expensive. I keep saying that. So that's why the dorms are so expensive. You're young, you're still trying to build yourself. So find you a studio apartment, find you roommates, find you a 1-bedroom. Like find something that is like within like a price range, and do not leave that price range. I did tell her this. Have someone in your corner that can help you when things get rough, okay? Understand not everybody has that. Also, definitely work on your credit score. Work on all those things just in case, just in case you need a credit card and you need to use that credit card for an emergency, okay? I don't know if that's good advice. I don't know if that's good advice. If you do get a credit card, do not use that credit card for random stuff. Please don't, okay? Use the credit card for things, small things, if you will. Small little things. Say, oh, I needed gas. Let me use my credit card to get this gas. Because I know in a couple days I can pay that off, okay? I know when the time I can just go ahead on and pay that off. I wouldn't suggest like using your credit card for big things because you might not be able to pay that off. So, yes, I hope that makes sense. Also, if you're living with your parents right now, work on your credit score. Now, that's something I did do before I moved. I did work on my credit score. This question, girl, I don't even know how to answer this one for you, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so how to build community in a new city. In a couple months, I will come back to this question and I'll answer it for you because right now I have no idea. Now, there are a few people that I kind of know here, like from my job, and then there's someone I actually know in my building because she was so kind, y'all, to help me lift my couch up to my apartment. Like, shout out to her. In a couple months I will answer this question. All I can say about that is what I always read in Proverbs is, in order to obtain friends, you must show yourself friendly. I may need to show myself a little bit more friendly, but a big one that I'm still currently working on is finding a church home. So I think finding a church home is going to be really, really good as far as building community. Obviously, when you get there, like, don't just like go to the service, go back home. Like, no, go to the service, see what kind of groups they have, youth groups, women groups, singles ministry, like join the outreach team. Like, that's definitely something on my list to do. So yeah, I'm really hoping I find me a really great church home this year. I will. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna find me a good church home this year, but that's one of the things that I know for a fact will help build community. Last question, how did I know that God was telling me to move? Okay, so the reason I knew God was telling me to move was the immense amount of confirmations that I was getting left and right. I was getting so many confirmations, even at the job. For example, at the job I was working this summer before I moved here, this job sold, what is it, like artwork or whatever the case may be, and there was no other city name on this artwork but the city that God had told me to move to. And so as I was walking, it caught my eye, and I was like, what? Wait, when did this get here? I hope this is making sense what I'm trying to say. So the artwork had the name of the city that God had already told me to move to, and that was at the place that I was working at in order to be able to afford to move here. It was just like little things like that, and like even like the name of the school that he wanted me to go to, I would see it like left and right, like all the time. Man, I fasted and I prayed a lot to get confirmation. I'm very, very big on confirmation, and ultimately I had a lot of peace before moving here. Like I said, before moving here, I never lived alone a day in my life, so I was very scared, like how that was gonna feel. Like, you know, was I gonna be afraid and all this kind of stuff? But nope, moving here, I just have so much peace, and I actually feel like an adult and like a grown-up, so to speak. So yeah, like if you're someone who's worried and you're used to, you know, being afraid to do things and jump out and step out and do things, literally just continue to fast and pray about it. But if God tells you to do it, don't be afraid, don't be worried, don't be scared. Like, God's going to provide. Sure, all the advice that I gave you is great advice to have, but ultimately God is the one that's going to take very, very good care of you. So, and then one day I'm going to be able to do a whole entire video on all the confirmations that I received. I mean, I even received it in his word, which is the most important thing. So, but yeah, y'all, I'm about to end this video right here. Thank you to everyone who sent in those questions. I really hope that it gave y'all some clarity. And if you're making a move to a new city, listen, as long as God told you to do it, know that he will provide. He will take very, very good care of you. So don't have any worries or any fear. Make sure you get all your things in order, and let God do the rest. Let him do the rest. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all of my social medias. I will link them down below. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.